All right, so we're live. Hi, everybody. Hello, welcome to our webinar. I'll just take a minute of yours just to provide some context. Some of you may know me from the LinkedIn posts or from our emails. If not, I'm Alina, and I'm going to be the main contact for this and the upcoming webinars. This is the first webinar in the series of the webinars we are launching. And this is a part of a big project of building a community for product founders, managers, design leads who want to connect, learn, and share ideas. So now I will give the word to Volodymyr, who you came to today. He's got really cool insights for you, so enjoy.
Thank you, Alina. So, welcome everyone. Today we're going to explore how AI can change the way you design products, making your work faster, more strategic, and less stuck with routine tasks that don't create enough value for your products. By the end of this session, you'll have practical ideas and tools that you could start using in your design process right away. But before we start, a few words about me. My name is Volodymyr, but you can call me Vlad. I've spent the last 2 years exploring so many different AI tools, and I love sharing my insights on product design and how to combine it with artificial intelligence. That's why I have a little blog on LinkedIn for my Ukrainian audience. I also publish articles from time to time on Medium, but mostly on UA. It's like the most popular tech media in Ukraine. The last one was specifically about AI in product design, how to combine them. And there is even a English version on Medium if you want to check it out. One more interesting fact about me is that in my spare time, I'm building a pet project from scratch to start up, relying heavily on AI tools. The goal is kind of to understand the limitation of AI, and spoiler alert, it can do much more than you might think. Let's go to the next slide. So this is our agenda for today. We'll talk about why to use AI at all. I'll show you my hand-picked list of the best AI tools that I personally use as a designer every day. We'll also look at each one in more detail, and we'll finish the webinar with some world's best practices for AI usage, as well as a quick Q&A session. So let's start with a quick poll. I'd just like to know which part of the design process you find most challenging, because like understanding it will help me focus on the areas that matter most to you, and it will probably give me more ideas for the future webinars. So let's begin. Why use AI in design? Many designers are still skeptical about AI. They don't see enough benefits or value in using it, but that's because they probably haven't had the right experience. Imagine spending less time on non-essential tasks and more on creative, strategic work. AI makes that possible. It automates the boring stuff so your team can solve real problems instead of just moving rectangles in Figma. AI simply transforms you as a designer and your team into faster professionals. And I can say that it even reduces the need for large teams. Now let's talk about the most interesting part, the AI toolkit. So each of these tools play a bit different role. Claude is like your design teammate that knows pretty much everything, while Perplexity is your kind of research buddy that analyzes the web in just a few minutes, sometimes in a few seconds. And Lovable and Zero, these are pretty similar tools. They help you bring your ideas to life as interactive designs that you can later show other people, for example, stakeholders, your team, and even, I can say, test with your users. The last one is in this list is Cursor. It takes your designs to the next level by making complex prototypes out of them. You can even use it for creating complete products, but that's for a bit more advanced designers. And from my experience, I know that most people still use just ChatGPT, but this specific set of tools is currently the best one, in my opinion, because it simply makes your work better. Now let's look at each one in more detail. So Claude and their specific feature called projects is like having a smart assistant that knows your product very well. It keeps your documentation and gives great answers if you ask the right questions, which is really important to ask the right questions. I recorded a few videos that show how to set up such a project, how to brainstorm ideas with Claude, how to generate a product requirements document, and even how to create designs based on these requirements, and always Claude's help. Also, these videos are slightly sped up to respect your time, but I will be commenting on them as we watch. So let's look at the first one. As you can see, I'm setting up a new project in Claude. I'm calling it Taste TV Design for a made-up app called Taste TV. I set up an instruction that basically makes Claude answer to me in some specific way. For example, I say act as a senior designer specializing in React Native mobile apps, and a really nice life hack here is to ask you clarifying questions. Then you can see there is an area for project knowledge. This is the knowledge of this, like your AI assistant. I upload just one document in this example, which is a project overview, and then I create a new chat, just simply saying, hey there. And as you can see, it knows about Taste TV, about this specific product. I also prompt it to tell me about the product a bit more. And as you can see, it provided me with some basic information, the overview of this product. And let's say I want to understand if it knows about its competitors, because I uploaded a lot of different documents, a lot of knowledge, and we can't see it already, but it answered something like no, because it didn't have enough knowledge. There's just one project overview file. But that's a super quick example. In reality, you can feed it with everything you know about your project, everything you have, and just use it as your assistant that can answer any product-related question. And in this second video, let's look at a bit more interesting example. That's the same project, just with a bit more detailed, let me turn it on again, a bit more detailed instructions and a bit more documents in the project knowledge, like kickoff meeting transcript, design brief, MVP feature list, and like things like that. I'm starting a new chat as well. This time it knows a bit more about the project and it has a bit more detailed instructions that are based on my needs. I ask it to tell me about MVP features. It suggests some different options. Then I ask it to provide me different ways to structure the option for like homepage. I select the one that I like the most and I ask it to create a PRD for me. That's in my opinion, that's magic, because I already have an PRD. I would make it I would spend much more time on that than in this example. And then let's say you could also generate the UI based on these requirements. All of that in Claude. You can see that on the right side, we have this area that's called artifacts in Claude, and we have a mobile first design. Why mobile first? Because I remember that somewhere in the documentation I mentioned that it should be a mobile first. So That's really nice. It took that sentence from like a big list of documents, and it knew that it should be mobile first. And even though the design here is not like the world's best design, it's not super modern, but I think you can all agree that it's better than wireframes in Figma. And it was done much more quicker with just a few prompts. And just to remind, this is a totally made up application. Now imagine what would happen, what design results you would get if you used real product requirements. That's it for the Claude. Let's look at the next tool, which is Perplexity. It looks like a chatbot, but it's really not a simple chatbot. It digs deep, bringing you rich and what's most important, real-time research. And as a designer, you can use it to search information about your competitors, look for user feedback on the web. I really like to look at App Store reviews and Reddit threads, Reddit discussions. And you can really do any web-related research using this tool in just minutes, not days, not days like before. Let's look at a quick demo. It's, again, a bit sped up, but you'll get the idea. So this is a chatbot. It has different options, different modes, and ways to focus your research. It was really quick, but there was 3 options: web research, academic research, and social research. The last one is the most interesting for us designers. And as you can see, I provided it with a competitive analysis prompt. I haven't showed it here, but that's what you're seeing now is the result of this research that was done in like 5 minutes. And also, I'm showing you 2 different tabs. The idea here that I like to explain is that you can even use the same exact prompt a few times in like different tabs and get a bit different results. So like the details probably would be the same, but the way it structures the results could be different. And in one example, it was briefer with more bullets, and in other example, it had more web sources, more citations, like in this one that it shows right now, and it was a bit more extensive. So let's say you prefer the second one, you can simply use it as your like PDF document. You can download it here as a result. And what's really nice, you can also even use this document in your Claude project. So Claude for me is kind of like a knowledge base for everything. Next one. This is V0. It's a prototyping tool. Again, it's a chatbot, but the layout here is a bit different, though it's similar to what we've already seen in Claude with artifacts. With V0, you simply describe your idea. You can also use rough sketches or maybe references from websites like Mobbin or any references you prefer. And then it creates an interactive prototype, interactive design for you based on those requirements and references. It means that you as a designer or your team can test and refine ideas much faster than before. I personally prefer to brainstorm ideas with V0 or the other tool that we'll look in a few seconds, because it's just simply quicker than drawing wireframes in Figma. And the results are usually better because they are not low fidelity, they are like real components that you can even export as code. And like the whole idea here is about getting your concepts to life quickly and efficiently instead of wasting too much time in on polishing designs in Figma. So let's look at the demo. Here, I'm just saying generate the homepage UI based on this PRD. I'm attaching a PRD from Claude that we're generated there just in a few seconds. And I'm also attaching references of Netflix, because let's say I think that Netflix is a good reference for our Taste TV application. There's also this interesting feature in V0 specifically. You can click the button to prompt engineer your prompt. It kind of enhances your request for you. And that's the result. This is our homepage. It looks much better than what we had in Claude. It's a desktop version now, not mobile first, and it actually looks like Netflix. So it used our references. You can also see that there's a way to open it as a tab, like new tab. You can use that link and share it with your team, which is really helpful. But let's say I don't like that it's so dark and I would prefer it to be more lightweight. And that's just what I'm typing there in the message bar. I'm using the enhanced prompt action again. And just in a few seconds, you'll see that it does what I ask it to do. So this is the same design. I'm comparing them, but now it uses a bit different styling. It feels more lightweight, and in my opinion, it feels more suitable for an application called Taste TV than the previous one that was more like Netflix. And now we can look at the next tool, which is pretty much almost the same. Lovable, it works similarly to V0, but it generates a bit different UI. Usually, I noticed that it's usually more modern looking. And also by testing the same prompts in both V0, Lovable, Claude, or any of those other tools for UI generation, you can get results from, I would say, different perspectives. And I really like to do so because as a designer, I can get ideas that I haven't thought of, and I can choose the version that I like the most. So you can do the same, and that's real nice in my opinion. And now let's look at a demo video. In this case, I'm using the same project requirements from like the ones that we generated in Claude, but this time without any references. And as you can see, I'm using like the same prompt in two different tabs, just to show you that you can, yeah, as I mentioned previously, you can use the same request and get different perspectives. So we'll see what it provides us with. This is the first option. I can open it in a new tab. I can preview it in a like responsive mobile view, which is really nice. It's different from Claude and from what we got in V0, and that's, in my opinion, that's awesome to get those like different views. But I really prefer the V0 version more. But now we'll also look at the other one. You can see there's an error, but let's say I don't know how to debug code. I can simply click like the button that says fix error, and that's it. It does it for me. But then let's say I noticed that there's something wrong with the hero section, as you can see. And again, I'm using my natural language just to say the hero section is broken, and it will fix it for me. So that's also what I really like in these AI generation tools. You don't need to know like how to develop applications to use these tools, but ideally you should know some basics. Then in this case, the results will be just a bit better. So as you could see, we used the same prompt. The results were a bit different, but it was really nice to compare them. And then the most interesting one, Cursor. I think most of you have already heard about it. It's an AI-powered coding environment that takes your design prototypes even further. It improves what you've built in V0 or Lovable or even Claude by adding complexity and functionality. Because in these tools, V0 and Lovable, because these are web-based tools, they have some token limitations, and in order to create something complex, something with really interesting and powerful logic, you need to use more advanced tools. And in our case, that's Cursor. So I would say a good workflow is to start with these simpler tools to generate some basic designs, and then to move to a bit more advanced environment. So this is especially useful if you want to explore, as I said, more advanced design ideas, or even to improve handoff to development by showing your developers how different components or pages should interact. Because what I also noticed, you need to spend much less time for prototyping things in Cursor or in those other tools than you would spend prototyping it in Figma if you're working on a really complex prototype. Because in Figma you need to like move all those nodes, you need to select different animation types, and here you just type in chat that connect this with this and make it look really nice animated. So let's look at two videos. The first one, as I said, I really liked this version from V0, so we can download it as a zip file. I've already used it, like uploaded it to our Cursor project. On the left, we have a structure, all those components. At the center, we have our code preview, but I just closed it. And on the right, the most interesting part, it's our AI assistant. And let's say I don't know terminal commands. So I say simply, help me run this project locally. I want to see it on my machine, but I don't know what command I should use in the terminal. But as you can see, I don't really need to know it because it does everything for me. And now I'm using localhost, and we're seeing the same exact design as we had in V0. And as I said, we can now do a bit more advanced stuff here. For example, I say, could you please use photos, like real photos on the homepage instead of placeholders? Use high quality photos and don't change anything else. As you can see, it starts, it gave me the answer I didn't really like. So I gave it more details, which is, again, a really important thing with AI. I said that use Unsplash for photos. And as you can see now, it looks much better without those placeholders. Just a few minutes in Claude, just a few minutes in V0, and just a few minutes in Cursor, and we already have this beautiful website for Days to Be app. And it was a pretty simple example with those photos, but we could do things like creating new pages. Let's say there is a recipes page in the navigation, but we don't have design for it. So we can say something like, could you help me please design the recipes page? And it does so. As you can see, it designs all those files, it structures them the way the developer would. I don't really need to know how to do so, but again, it's nice to know how to do so. And now we have that page, but it's not linked in the header. So I say, make it possible to go to the recipes page from the top navigation bar. And it does so. We get an error, but I don't need to know how to debug it. I simply copy and paste it, which is real nice. And now we should have the recipes page. And I just would like to mention that I haven't provided with any details at all. It knows something about the project already, so it kind of made up this page. But even though it made it up, the result was pretty nice. And imagine what would happen, what result you would get if you gave it real details, like a lot of context. And let's say I would even want to see the details of that classic margarita pizza recipe. And it again does it, just with a few prompts. I need to refresh it, and that's the final result. Kind of looks like Notion-like page, but I really like it. I wouldn't even change anything here. That was it for Cursor. Okay, AI in design, like the best practices. If your team has never used these AI tools before, starting to do so might feel overwhelming, and it might frighten some designers. But there is a few suggestions from my side on how to approach that. I would suggest for your team to begin small, to experiment with tools like Claude and Perplexity because they are the simplest ones, and Claude, in my opinion, is the starting point for any AI work. This way, you would understand the best way for you to interact with such AI chatbots. And then, as you grow more comfortable, you could use advanced tools like V0, Lovable, or any others, but these two, in my opinion, are the best in their field. And believe me, I tried a lot of them. And use those tools for brainstorming and UI generation. And the most complex, but at the same time, most interesting to learn is still Cursor, the last one that we reviewed. Ideally, to get the most out of it, your designers need to understand at least some programming basics. And currently, there aren't many good courses for AI coders. So, in my opinion, the best way to learn it is to simply make mistakes. I personally prefer coding small concepts and pet projects. And lastly, super important with these tools and with really any design tool, it's important to remember that while AI is powerful, you should be the person who asks the right questions, gives enough details, and makes the final decision. So with this approach, you'll get truly great results from AI. And if today's talk resonated with you and you're ready to take your design process to the next level, let's connect. Our team would love to talk about your challenges and show you how these AI tools can help solve them. Here you can see our contacts. You can also scan this QR code. And I think a bit more interesting part is now we have a few more minutes to answer your questions. Let me take a look at our chat if we have any there, and feel free to send any new questions. Let's discuss your thoughts. There's, by the way, also a QR code you can scan. That's the same as on the previous slide. Okay, so I have I think 2 questions for now. Let me turn it on. Have you found that with some of these tools, you need to tweak your questions in a particular way, unique to each tool to obtain better results? I would say that with AI tools, you probably need to use pretty much the same approach everywhere because they usually use APIs from Claude or OpenAI. So basically, that's the same large language model. The only difference in them could be that they use a bit different system prompts. So I would say that there's not a big difference in how you ask those questions. I would suggest to provide the most, as much details as you can, because the AI can't guess. It won't provide a good result, good design, if you just say it, tell it like create a design for a Taste TV application, because it doesn't know what to create. And that's like a trap that most people get into with AI. And I've also mentioned it before. A super helpful life hack is to tell AI to ask you clarifying questions. The ideal number is between 7 and 10 from my experience. If you know that you're asking it to do something pretty complex, something you maybe haven't provided it with enough context, write your best possible prompt and then just at the end say, ask me 10 clarifying questions before you proceed. And then it will become your own assistant. It will ask you questions that will help it better understand about your request. And what I find interesting is that it could also help you understand some things that you would never thought about if not those questions. So that's just a quick life hack. Okay. The next one, which of these have you found to be more receptive to adding existing design systems, mockups, and examples in order to fine-tune the result to better match your design system if working with a pre-existing product? So I would say that these tools are currently mostly like the most you can get from them is for brainstorming and concepts. That's a like the best and the easiest way to use them, I would say. But today you can see that a new like every week there is some news about a new powerful AI tool. So we're moving really fast in the world of AI, and I think that pretty much soon, maybe this year, maybe in a few months, who knows, we will get a way to use our design systems from, let's say, Figma, and to design those concepts based on our existing components. But currently, there isn't any easy ways to do so. There is one with Cursor that I found like a few weeks ago. There is a plugin that allows you to export components into, I think that's a JSON format, and you can send it to Cursor. And how you can make it work is to set up your project in Cursor, set up the correct structure that you need, and let's say you need to build a table. You want this table to look exactly like your designs in Figma, but if you screenshot it and set it to Cursor and say recreate it, it will be 50-50. It won't be exactly the same as your designs, but you can say it, create a table, like super simple table component without making it interactive yet. And then you copy, you kind of export that JSON code from Figma, you send it to Cursor, and you just say, replace it or style it the same way as this reference code. And it works almost all the times. There's also an integration within a tool called bolt.new. It's an alternative of WeZero and Lovable. I just remembered that they have a way to export designs from Figma to their tool. But from my experience, it still struggles with complex pages. So if you want to try it, I would suggest try with components and kind of like start from how it's called, atomic design, like how we do design systems. Start from components, then continue to pages, and play with it like with Lego. But why I haven't showed you bold.new in this set of tools, because even though it has that Figma export function, the designs that it generates are worse from my experience than Lovable and VZero. Okay, the next question. If you want to apply a brand visual profile to your design, will AI be able to do that in a correct way? Brand visual. If that's not like in the previous question, if that's not about recreating your exact design from Figma and just by making AI use your general styles, it can do so. You can share your maybe brand book, you can share some screenshots of your existing pages, products, you can share a PDF file where you explain your visual styles, and it will analyze it and it will try to create designs based on this style. So yeah, it pretty much can do so. Also, one life hack, if you, it's more about the previous question, but it also covers this one. If you want to create a design in a easier way, just by feeding the AI a screenshot of that design, a reference of the design. Like if you want it to style some existing prototypes in a specific way, like some different reference, I wouldn't advise you to just send the reference and say, style it like this, because it tends to recreate the functionality from references. Even though if you like specifically mentioned that do not change any functionality, just style it like this. So what you can do, you can send references, you can say analyze them and do not implement anything, just explain to yourself what are these references about, explain to yourself the styles that these references use, and as a next step, you can apply them to the existing designs. So that would work a bit better. Next question, do you have any experience with using Framer? If so, what is your opinion and would you recommend using it? My colleague has experience with Framer on our existing project, but unfortunately, I haven't used it very much. But as far as I know, Framer is a tool similar to Figma that allows you to create designs, mostly for, I assume, landing pages, and you can deploy them with ease. So that's interesting, but you still need to create designs in Framer. Like, what's the point if you can do so in Claude or in V0 or in Lovable, and you can also deploy it right away and even use your own domain if you do so in Lovable or V0, because V0 is a tool from Vercel, and Vercel is like a big company that helps you deploy your applications to the web, and they also, as far as I know, are creators of Next.js framework, the one that's currently used mostly for web applications. So I don't know if there is any like point in using Framer anymore, because we can do so with AI much easier and faster. Okay, I see that we have the last question. Are these all in free versions or paid? So Claude has a free version, but not the project feature. If you want to use it as just an AI chatbot that doesn't have this project knowledge, kind of like a folder with all your documents that you can create chats under, you can use a free version. They even released their most powerful model, which is called Sonnet 3.7, just a few days ago to their free users. So now you can even have access to it without paying, but I would suggest paying for it, because like the project feature is what does the magic. With Perplexity, you have, I think previously they gave you just like 5 pro searches a day, and now I could be wrong, but as far as I remember, it's 3 pro searches. So for example, if you need to conduct 3 competitive analysis, let's say in a day, that would be enough. But if you're doing a lot of web research, you need to pay for a subscription. But there is also a like regular search mode, which provides you with a bit worse results. I wouldn't suggest to use it heavily, but it has like 100 free requests a day. Also with Zero, the same way as Lovable, they have a few free requests a day per day. So if you need to brainstorm something quickly, you can simply use them without paying. But again, they are really nice tools, so why not to pay for them? They usually, all those tools cost like $20 a month, and they save a lot of time. So that's definitely the right price. And Cursor, it's paid, but when I first tried it, it had a free plan, free trial for 2 weeks with all the pro features. I'm not sure if they have it, if they still have it, but I assume that they do. So you can try it for 2 weeks, try all the features, try different models, and I haven't mentioned it, but if we're like digging into details, Cursor has access to a lot of different models, like Claude, Gemini from Google, ChatGPT from OpenAI, even I think DeepSeek from like Chinese developers, but it's hosted somewhere in the US, so it doesn't steal your data. So you pay $20 a month, but you have access to all those models. So that's a nice way to spend $20. So yeah, to summarize, most of them are free to try, but in order to get the most, you need to pay, but the price is not real big. I think that was the last question. We can wait a few more seconds if anyone has anything else to ask. Okay, so I'm planning another webinar focusing on how to use AI for specifically design research. In that webinar, we'll talk about how to use Claude projects as your knowledge base, but this time I just showed a sneak peek into it, and the next time I will show you all the interesting details. And we'll use Perplexity and one more interesting tool that I haven't put here because it got released just a few days ago after I already did this presentation. And all those tools we'll use for research, for competitive research, and some other interesting stuff. So stay tuned and see ya. I think that's it. Elena, should we end the webinar?
Yes. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Volodymyr, for this great presentation. It was really interesting, I think, for everyone. So yeah, regarding this next webinar, Volodymyr, don't worry. I will let you know the first about this, so you will be able to register and come and learn in live how to use AI for product research in every detail. So thank you all. Have a nice night, evening, day, whatever time zone you are in. Thank you.